staff saying, it's here, and the men went away. Gabby was listening. If we could hear it, she could hear it. To call the police after that and say there's men out there and they're not leaving. And her mental health was the worst I have ever seen on that day. It was crazy incident. I think people were extremely worried about her. And then she did disappear for the weekend and not talking about it today. But those are the two incidents where, how are you going to talk about everything else but not that? And I just, it's suspicious.
I
It's
don't know.
certainly suspicious.
I feel like that she can't talk about anything though because everything's it's. I mean, everybody thinks that I'm just saying thinks allegedly
Yeah.
or whatever. Everybody thinks that she's like a master manipulator. She knows that every time she says something, nobody believes her. Um, so like, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened over the course of the couple of days where she wasn't online. I was watching and waiting too for her to come back on. The only reason I reached out to her today was because I guess she was on live saying that she wanted to talk to a larger creator about it. So I reached out and said, let's talk because last the last time she was on live, whenever I went into her live, I asked her if I could ask her a couple questions and she blocked me. And when I asked her today, she said the reason why she did that is because I made videos about her. I did. I did. And I told her, I said, yeah, I made videos. Because I have a lot of questions like, what the hell? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so I asked tons of questions today.
Right.
But I have a life too, and I couldn't spend like, hours and hours. I spent a lot of time, but like, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, of
Uh,
course. I think what I've said to people is I think out of all the people that are regularly following Gabby right now, I think she's got probably 10% true bullies that are just out to hurt, shame, humiliate. I think she has maybe 10% true supporters. But then I think there's 80% of people that are just waiting for accountability for something. I don't think, there's no doubt in my mind that she showed you 80 plus CPS cases that have had no action. I believe that. I believe that's a true statement. I believe she probably,
showed me.
showed you that. But
I didn't. I didn't read all of them. I didn't read the last two because I was trying to cram it all in. But I did read them, and they were all saying that they felt like he was safe. And
right.
so,
I do. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I know there's a lot of opinions, and there are people that, do think that CPS should have removed him by now. I'm don't happen to be part of that group. What I do know is that she is not a good parent. She is, what she shows on this internet is not good parenting. It's not good parenting. And it's just like texting and driving. While her face is in her phone, it is not paying attention to her son. I have watched, and she is sometimes, when she is actually truthful, you get a glimpse into her thinking. She literally last summer couldn't wait for him to start school so the school would potty train him. She said that out loud, as if she's, what I see Gabby doing is avoiding the hard things, avoiding correcting, avoiding structure. Those are the hard parts of parenting. And I think if she was genuine, if she had a little humility in her life, instead of patting herself on the back for being a great mom, I like people that are quirky. I think, she mispronounces a lot of words. She doesn't have a great vocabulary. Those are all things that I would have a compassion for a person and support them. But she is literally the most arrogant person that takes zero responsibility. And all you ever hear her say is, I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes. What mistakes are they? Like, that's all I've ever heard her say. she does not take accountability for everything. And I think that unless you have been watching her, you really can't even imagine the number of times a day that she lies, she pushes buttons, she rage baits. It's consistent and it's constant. And I do think one more thing I wanted to point out, and I'll let somebody else talk if you'd like. Um, the shark incident. I agree with you.
Oh,
When I look back
that's a
at that,
fact. That's a
yes,
fact.
I know. But listen, here's what I have to say about that. Is when I look back at it, they were playing with shark stickers. He was saying that because he touched her, she immediately started saying, Zach, Zach, Zach. And that's not what he was saying because he's very persistent in communicating now if, he's not understood. I think she started that Zach because she literally felt sort of a panic because he touched her chest. However, that is I believe, an innocent circumstance. He was saying shark, but take my word for it. There's 5 other incidents where he is under her shirt grabbing her. She turns the camera. There are other incidents that make that suspicious. So
I understand that.
what happens is Gabi gets indignant about that and she's telling the truth. And it's a little suspicious the way she was trying to guide him to say Zach, but she ignores the 5 or 6 other really bad instances that people have witnessed and doesn't talk about it.
Do you think because she could hear that he made a gesture and then it sounded like suck,
Yes,
he automatically
absolutely.
oh God, the internet.
Yes. Yes. But I think that there is some truth as to why people are skeptical about that. To be honest, I mean, there's a handful. I think, and I don't know if you saw this one clip, but I can't get this is to me just the epitome of both of them really being showing boldly really inappropriate behavior. Aaron had Gabi bend over, touch her toes, and told her to spell the word run.
I saw that.
R-U-N. Did you see that? And then, Aaron, whatever, humped her. And then Cam jumped in and mimicked it. Those are the things that people see and she ignores, but she will focus on that. And, of course it's human nature. The shark was innocent and she's going to explain that. But, there's just too much. There's too much. And Gabi is, like I said, the word I like to use is offended. She has offended so many people. None of us can tell somebody I didn't hurt you because hurt is your own feelings. You can't tell somebody how they feel, whether it's rational or irrational. You can't explain that. But Gabi does not understand why she is disliked, and she's not open to even hearing any of the behaviors at all. She's got the good game of blocking and only focusing, on the real things that are happening. And until she has some self-awareness, it's not going to change.
Has she ever had a live where she's talked to people in the boxes and people actually not and been respectful like you're being right now?
I recently, she did leave a couple people in her boxes one night. I forget what the incident was, and I was very surprised she opened boxes. And there was a creator, I think it was Artsy Fartsy, who was some type of licensed clinician or in the field. And she started out by saying to her, first of all, from her professional perspective, it's very hard to prove physical abuse in a house, and she didn't see that. She did not see that there was anything substantiated in trying to remove her son. But then she tried to talk to her about what kinds of things constitute emotional abuse and dropped her instantly. And that's what I've seen I've seen people be disrespectful, but I have seen a handful of people be very respectful and try to talk to her. And as soon as it is an actual, something that is hard for her to accept or acknowledge, she does drop them. And hence she doesn't open boxes very, very often.
Sorry, I had to feed my animals. I was not
That's
trying
okay.
to feed to anybody.
But that's all. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and you were speaking to what you saw today, but you do have to understand that, a couple of days ago, people were looking for you to create some awareness, and you did an about face, and you did it very aggressively today. And I'm glad that you're
kindly.
Pardon me?
I don't take kindly to somebody telling me what I need to do. And because I don't do what they want me to do, that I'm not doing enough. And
right.
I'm not a fucking wizard. I'm not a magician. I'm a human just like everybody else. And
yeah, I hear you.
You guys can sit and say I was rude, but the way Savannah came at me, that was rude. That was not okay. I wasn't trying to be rude in that aspect, but I'm also not going to sit and let somebody be rude and disrespectful to me. That's why I yeeted myself right the fuck out.
Yeah.
I don't put up with that shit. I'm not going to let somebody dogpile on me and tell me what. No, Savannah was not being respectful. She was talking over me. She was not being respectful.
I think the thing maybe that I'm referencing, and this is how I see it with Gabi, is lumping everybody in as bullies and haters, because it's not true. And not to say that there isn't a percentage of people that are just being, body shaming and rude and mean-spirited, because there is. But Gabi does not have thousands of haters after her that do want to see her son taken away, her, harassing her mom. Everything has some embellishment to it. And if not embellishment, then just straight up lies. So, okay. I've said my piece, and I will jump down into the comments, but thanks for listening. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, what do you guys want me to take accountability for? I am paying attention. I fed my animals, all right, who are the most important things to me right now on this planet. Forgive the fuck out of me. Hey, Brandy, get rid of theft by deception. Bye. I think you guys are getting a little bit confused about what rude is. Okay, my name is I'm this bish. Okay, I've been a bish for fucking ever. I'm also a Gen Xer, all right? Your sensitivities sometimes just are not going to be heard. Now, I can be respectful, absolutely, and I'll hear you out. But if you're being disrespectful to me, respectfully, fuck you. Who's next? All right, just because I'm curious as to why. Oh God, did I pick two people at the same time? No.
Hi there, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, but I didn't pick you for the longest time because one of my biggest pet peeves is no profile picture.
Yeah, I did a throwaway account just because what I'm going to talk about is kind of sensitive. So genuine question. Do you think that Gabi has PTSD? Do you
Absolutely.
genuinely believe?
Hear me out. If you want the answer, hear me out.
Yeah, I'm hearing you out.
If she never had PTSD before, if you guys don't think that Aaron abuses her, you're wrong. We've all watched it. PTSD can be caused from that. Also, if she never had it before that, though, or even if you don't want to consider her having it from Aaron, what I've seen in the bullying and stuff, absolutely. You can definitely get PTSD from that. It's psychological fucking mind fuckery. And it fucks with you so bad that you don't know who you can trust. You don't want to make new friends on the app. Different things. So yeah, I absolutely do think so, but I'm going to be eaten alive in the fucking comments.
So I guess I should specify my question better. Do you believe her when she says she has PTSD and emotional abuse from the internet? Maybe I should have been a little bit more specific. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. Because absolutely. I had PTSD.
So I'm going to kindly disagree about the whole Gabi thing, and hear me out. So I do have PTSD. This is the sensitive subject. I was essayed back in 2020, and I didn't get diagnosed until the end of 2021, because it is not simple as just going to a doctor, sitting down, and them telling you, hey, you got PTSD after meeting me one time. It took me a year. This exposure therapy that she's trying about wanting to stay on the internet, that's not how that works. I have to avoid my triggers, or else I do go into these full-blown panic attacks. I have nightmares. I have these problems because of what I've been through, the traumatic experience I went through. You know how Gabi can avoid it? By staying off the internet, and she refuses. That's not how PTSD works. PTSD physically makes you impossible. It makes it impossible to encounter these triggers, or else you immediately have a reaction. If she has PTSD from being on the internet, it's going to trigger her, and she's not going to be able to physically do it. She's going to make herself go crazy. There are physical effects from PTSD. If she hits that live button, I guarantee if she genuinely had PTSD, there would be physical problems. She'd be like throwing up. You could tell that there was something wrong, and there is nothing wrong.
Can I tell you something from a healthcare standpoint?
Absolutely.
We're taught in nursing school that no patient, not one patient, is like another. And how things affect you might not be how they affect other people.
I have a psych degree.
Okay.
Like, I have a whole psych degree.
I'm not trying to, I don't know, so I'm just talking. But I also, like I said earlier, I was assaulted by 3 men in 2005. The first day that I went, they put me on Xanax and gave me a generalized anxiety disorder diagnosis along with a PTSD diagnosis. So it can happen. So to say that it won't happen and it doesn't happen is not true. It does happen. It can happen. I'm proof that it's happened. So, I mean, it is what it is at this point, okay? Whether people want to think she has PTSD or doesn't have PTSD, I mean, I guess unless you're her doctor and she's sitting on your couch and you have that full, like, encompassing moment, I don't know. Can we?
My point about the whole PTSD thing is it's not a one-day process. It takes longer than a single session and a single day. You can't just call your doctor and say, hey, this is what's going on, and they immediately are like, oh yeah, you're
No, you can't
traumatized.
Call the doctor and do that. I will agree.
No doctor will do that. And that's my point, and that's why I wanted to come up here, is because as somebody who has PTSD and has experienced something very traumatic, whatever it is, it's not a one-day process. That's what I really wanted to say, is that it's just not a one single day. You walk in and then you walk out and you're diagnosed with PTSD.
Why all of a sudden are you guys saying I'm backpedaling? I'm not. I said that I saw it on the portal. I thought we already squashed that she could possibly do whatever and change the portal diagnosis.
If you're diagnosed in one day, I hate to tell you this, but you should see a new doctor. because that's not how it works. And that's coming from a professional side with my psych degree that I've held for years, and somebody
I'm
who
not
has
disvaluing
PTSD.
that.
No, I'm reading the comments.
Okay. No.
I'm not shitting on you. I'm just reading the comments. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I don't know how to drop myself, so you're gonna have to kick me out. But I really
like your
appreciate you
name, by the
hearing me
way.
out.
And I like green beans.
Thank you.
I've learned something from this live, which I already have learned this before. It does not matter what you say on the internet. If somebody doesn't want to listen, or if somebody doesn't want to believe it, they won't. I left you for last because of your picture. Just FYI. I don't know why it's not loading. Am I? Am I lagging? I'm just saying, I'll choose anybody else other than you all day long, Breezy, because the picture. If my phone rings one more time. I don't know what's going on, but they can't come up in the box. Does anybody want to talk about true crime now? Jesus Christ. I'm not going to put you in your ear if you're going to scream at me.
Hello. My name used to be Artsy Fartsy, but then somebody mistaken my name, and now I'm Ansley Fancy. I don't know. It's going to fade over soon. I just wanted to come on here and just say I think the bottom line is Gabby has produced more than sufficient evidence that she is mentally abusing that child. And everybody tries to give her suggestions to get off the app. If the app is causing her PTSD or any type of emotional feelings, she shouldn't be on it. And I understand that whole why are we taking people off or why should she have to come off? But people are vicious and they are brutal. And she's exposing her entire life for everybody to critique every little itty bitty thing she does. In terms of the DV, I can't say Aaron does or doesn't. I personally have been a part of DV, and a lot of it is I think he's kind of sick and tired of her behaviors, and tired of the nonstop recording. I mean, could you imagine having recording 24/7 on you?
No, I couldn't.
Yeah, that would drive me insane. But I think the bottom line is our entire goal is to help with that baby. And I personally I don't think that he needs to be removed from the home, but I definitely think some family maintenance and some, just some classes to help her. Not only that, if she were to even open herself a volunteer FM case, the resources that would be available to her if her child is actually autistic is insurmeasurable. Like the amount of help and support she would have, she would be utterly grateful for. It's not always necessarily a bad thing if CPS is involved. There is a lot of pros with it, but she's not giving it an opportunity and she's busy being online and I don't even know what it could possibly be about social media that could be so addicting to it, but I mean, we've all had an addiction of some sorts. Hell, I smoke, you know what I mean? So I'm not here to criticize that by any stretch of the imagination, and that could just be her thing. But I really think her getting off of the app and focusing on her child and her family would do a world of change for her and that baby.
I
That's
agree.
just my 2 cents. It really, I'm really irrelevant, but I
No,
just
no,
think
no.
like
I agree. I have
I
a
think a lot
question
of
for
people are
you
coming
guys.
off as if they're bullies, but I don't think they're trying to be bully in a sense. Yeah, go ahead.
To be bullied for me coming on here tonight.
No, absolutely not.
So you don't think that I should be on the Reddit page right now being discussed and being talked about like I'm a horrible human?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So tomorrow morning when I wake up, I'll probably be absolutely bullied for all of this bullshit.
Right.
That's just what I'm trying to say is that like people cannot, why is it okay? Not okay. Okay sometimes for people to have varying opinions, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it's about certain things, like it's like, oh God, AK is absolutely a horrible person now. I literally we've come to the conclusion tonight, all right, that I saw the portal. Does that mean that she couldn't have told the doctors to put that on there and they put it on there? I'm not saying that because I don't know. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know if the doctor looked into other paperwork. Who knows? We weren't there. Could it be
Yeah.
possible that she did it? Yes. Okay. Yeah. And I guess I wasn't thinking about that when I looked in the portal. Okay. I wasn't thinking because that was something that I brought up because I was like, okay, we've got this paperwork, this paperwork, this paperwork. Where's the portal? Because I thought if the portal could be brought up, and hold on, you guys can be heard. For some reason, my AirPods aren't working. Then I thought, okay, well, this is unexpected. Me asking for the portal access, right?
Yeah. I can still hear you.
I know you can, but like my
Oh, sorry.
they want to be in my ear, but my AirPods aren't working, guys.
Oh, be careful if somebody comes up in here and starts yelling. That hurts.
Um, okay, did I accuse somebody earlier? No. I just said, and this is where people get me a little bit confused sometimes because people will say that you've done something when that's not necessarily what you did. When I brought up the stalking videos, I said,
Mm-hmm.
who's this person and this person? Because sometimes I think that, what if they really are being stalked? Like, what if they are being stalked? It would
So if
probably
you
be
were being
somebody that's
stalked,
around
wouldn't
and
you?
probably somebody that's
Okay.
caused problems too, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then we know that the Monique girl is the one who took the pictures at the courthouse. So it wasn't out of the realm of whatever that possibly could be that person. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't accuse anybody. I just said, who's this person and who's this person?
I think I missed that part. I don't
I'm just saying,
recall
I did
seeing
say
anything
quite
about
a
a
few
courthouse.
things, but I also said some other shit too. Like, who's sending shit in bags to her house and her mom's? This is the shit, like the bullying. Like, it's just like,
Yeah.
there's some
No,
things that shouldn't be done.
I agree with you. That is bullying, and that is taking it too far. But I want to touch back on something you had just actually said about, when you're online, people have their own perspective. They only see a pick of everything, right? Granted,
Okay.
Gabby's life is recorded nearly 24/7, but you just said there, you just had said that if we don't think that Aaron doesn't abuse her, we've got it wrong, right? Or did I misunderstand that?
No, we've seen it. We've heard it. Over the last
But
years, I mean, have we not seen it and heard it?
I mean, I've heard him
Verbal
say some
abuse
mean
and
stuff
mental
that,
abuse is just as bad as physical abuse.
yes, I agree, which is exactly what's happening to her son from her.
And I'm not saying that she doesn't abuse Aaron. You guys, please
Oh,
quit
I don't know
twisting my
about that.
fucking words. Because it's a little bit pathetic.
Stop twisting fucking
I'm not trying
words.
to. No, no, no. I'm not trying to
Not
twist your
you.
words.
Not
I'm
you.
not trying to twist. Oh, okay.
No,
Yeah,
not you.
mental abuse and emotional abuse is like actually 10 times worse than physical, I think personally, because, scars and bruises and all that stuff can go away, but what you do to the brain, they're incredible, but it can be damaged very easily.
I know, Jack.
And I don't think you deserve to be bullied. I don't think anybody deserves to be bullied. And I do not agree with the sending shit to people's houses and stuff. Like, I think that's going too far. I think the main objective is being the voice for the little boy, and she's just not getting it. She said, there's are instances where people have been in her live. Like, I was in her live the other night trying to, well, not the other night, I'd say it was like a couple weeks ago, trying to explain to her the difference of what she's doing and the damages that it could be putting on her child. And she didn't care what I had to say. I was not disrespectful. I was very respectful. And she just dropped me, said, okay, and she doesn't want to hear any type of positive assistance. She just wants to say what you're doing is wrong and everything I'm doing is right. I'm the mom, bug off.
No, and she needs to take accountability for the shit she's done. And
100%.
Kimberly, I just want to say that I'm also a DV survivor, and I've seen both ways. I've seen them both be abusive to one another.
So
Both.
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
No,
get
abuse is
it.
the worst.
And just because she's abusive to him doesn't mean if he does something back in retaliation that's not abuse, because it is.
It 100%.
So
100%. But I almost like wonder that sometimes, I mean, what is it, reactive? Like, they're so calm and so reasonable for so long, and then they get pushed at and pushed at and pushed at, and
no,
then
I
they
get it.
finally explode, and it makes them look like the abuser.
No, I mean I get that, but
Yeah.
even if it's reactive abuse, it's still abuse. So
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, it still hurts nonetheless, but
it's sad.
um
It's sad that it has to get to that place.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I believe trauma bond is possible.
100% it is a thing. I personally have had trauma bond before, and it is not good.
Name one instance where you guys haven't heard him screaming and yelling, and I mean,
I've definitely heard
you
him
know
yell
what?
at her,
If
but
you
not
want to put in the chat to answer your question in all capitals, I probably won't. That's disrespectful.
feeling like I'm
I'm
getting
trying
yelled
to
at.
see it. See, but you guys are saying that it's okay for him to do it because she does it, or it's okay for her to do it because he does it. It's just not. It's still not okay. None of it's
100%.
okay. Zero of what's going in that house is okay. Zero. Zero.
Yeah.
Right? Zero.
Zero. Yeah. I think moral of the story is Gabby needs to get off the internet and focus on her
I think
family
she
and her
needs.
child and herself.
I think she needs a mental health vacation as well. I do. I've not been.
But I will let you take your life back. I
Thank you.
wanted to say, because I know that I was brought up earlier about how I had gone in her life. I did do social working for a couple years. Um, I agree with it and I don't agree with it. Sometimes we're really shitty people and sometimes we're saints. But I think in the case of Gabby, she definitely needs to take a mind off of the ticky talk for a little bit. But you don't deserve to be bullied, AK. Thanks for hearing me out. Thanks for not yelling at me. I hope you don't get bullied.
I mean, I'm not trying to yell or anything at anybody. It's just like when people are so disrespectful.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
all right.
No, for sure. All right, have a good
Talk to you
one.
later. Bye-bye. Something that you all who are brand new to me don't know. And I know you don't care, but I'm gonna tell you this anyway, since you're here anyway, all 722 of you. I've had 2 anoxic brain injuries and I lack impulse control. Not like you couldn't tell. Okay, anyway, let's proceed. Who's next? So maybe you could just give me a tad bit of grace, because like I do lack impulse control and I'm being really good right now.
I am. My mods will tell you I'm being great. Okay, who's this? Oh gosh, is this the Mallory? If you have a bow on your head, I'm gonna die.
I do. Yes.
I know who you are.
Yeah. Okay, so I had a couple of things really quickly. Um, First of all, I commend you for having open conversations. I know it's not always easy. As somebody who did grow up in a house with a mother who was undiagnosed bipolar, I think it's really easy to say that there is more than one type of abuse, and
Suddenly.
that there is the aspect of mental abuse. Are you aware that Gabi recently said that CPS told her if there are no marks left on a child, then the child is not being abused?
I heard that.
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but I heard that exact
It-
thing that you said. I didn't hear that CPS said. I thought that she said that.
No, she basically said that CPS came to her house, and I believe that was on a Sunday, and told them that as long as a child doesn't have a mark on them, that they aren't being abused. And I think that's really important to kind of tailspin into this concept of like the things that Cameron does and the things that Cameron hears on lives, because while I know that CPS obviously fails a lot of children, there's a lot of children who should be saved that don't get saved, and it ends up costing them their lives. We've also, on the flip side, I know you had said something about how, she's always on live, and you see her with Cameron. Ruby Frankie was on live a lot too, and look at what's happening with her kids. So I think I want to challenge you to kind of consider. I know last weekend there was a instance where she was on live and she was making pancakes, and she just lost it and started screaming at Aaron and Cameron. If she is capable of speaking that way, knowing that there are hundreds of people watching her, what is she capable of saying behind the scenes when nobody is watching her? I think it's really important that you take that into consideration, especially knowing that she has said that abuse isn't real if there's no marks left on a child. And just think about that a little bit, because I think that CPS a lot of times will go, and obviously, like the last person, I think that Cameron is not in the worst of the worst situations. However, I do think that there are things that are going to impact him in the long run, and it is really, really important that we all consider that, because what we are witnessing on live is only a window into what we're not seeing on live. So,
You're correct.
yeah. So I just wanted to come up and say that. I know a lot of people in the comments were kind of pointing that out. I will also say, I can't remember when, but Gabi herself, I believe, has had DV charges against, Aaron had them against her. So she was charged with it. So when we're kind of speaking about those types of things, I think it's important to remember that when you're kind of making the accusation that Aaron abuses her, she's the one that's actually had the charges pressed against her.
Okay, but that doesn't mean because charges haven't. Okay.
No, it doesn't. And I'm not saying with 100% finality that's what that means, but I do think that when we are talking in the grand scheme of things, that if you look at the totality of it.
Maybe he sees her as or maybe she can't be without him, and that's why she doesn't press charges on him. I mean, because a lot of women are like that. I don't know. He makes the money. She doesn't want to put him in jail.
I genuinely, the things that I have seen Aaron interact with her with, I do think his temper gets up. I think he gets frustrated with the way that she comes online and she behaves, and then people get her worked up, and then she ends up crying or she ends up freaking out, and he's the one that has to deal with that. I think that they both are toxic for each other in their own ways. And I think that that's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I think that from both standpoints, I think that Gabi and Aaron both kind of feed into each other. Like, I know he will sit on live and listen to other people's lives, which then pisses her off because she can hear what other people are saying about her. And it does feed into that trauma bond. But I do
Everyone's
think,
making excuses.
yeah, and I think with at the end of the day, something that I have kind of felt with Gabi that I don't know if she will ever actually consider it. I will say the other day she did say something about how she had gone to therapy and gotten diagnosed with PTSD. Then she made a comment that when all of this is done, she will go to therapy and receive therapy. So it was kind of like a contradiction there. But then she also does, in my opinion, exhibit what appears to be borderline personality disorder and those extreme highs and the extreme lows. So if she is listening, I would just hope that she considers actually speaking to somebody and talking about like the behaviors and things, because you can just watch her on a daily basis and see her go from really high to really low. And I have people in my life who have BPD, and it is very much something that does look as if she could be struggling with. I know that
I
the
mean,
Adder's,
I wouldn't throw anything like that on anybody. I wouldn't
yeah,
throw those kind of. That's a lot. Like
it is a lot.
I'm not gonna say that she has any kind of anything like that. I'm just, yeah. I don't know what to say at this point.
Yeah.
I don't.
No,
I don't.
and
I agree.
I'm not going to say like she has it. I just think that in the grand scheme of things, when sometimes we support people kind of exploring their mental health and things like that, and can help people understand what different types of things are out there, they might be more willing to open up with a psychiatrist or a therapist about it. But
She's already said that she knows that she needs to go to therapy. So
yeah,
I think that's something her and her therapist need to work through. And I don't
yeah.
think that's for the internet.
Yeah. The problem is, though, is that she continues to bring it to the internet.
Well, but she's not saying I've got BPD, I've got bipolar, I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. She said she has PTSD and the whole world's blowing up over it. So I would say, Gabby, don't ever tell anybody if you got other mental illnesses, because they'll
Yeah.
just use it all against you.
No, and the showing medical records on live, like I've sat here and watched her get amped up to do that, and I don't think she should be doing that. I don't think you should have been given access to her medical records. I think there are some things she's got to put boundaries on, and she's not doing that. But she absolutely just.
I didn't break HIPAA. She gave me access to it, and I never showed it.
Yeah.
So I didn't break HIPAA violation or anything. And Gabby told me that I could share the PTSD thing and that I could share the autism thing. And that's why I shared it. So I had permission to do that. But I would never show anybody's medical records or anything like that. That's not what I'm about.
Mm-hmm. I get that. And I just think that she herself has to learn boundaries, because you can't come to the internet and almost like trauma dump it all and then expect everybody to just believe every single thing when you're consistently kind of presenting lies and being proven wrong at the same time too. So I think she really needs to take time for herself. But I did want to come up and ask if you knew about her having said that about abuse, and how she said CPS told her it wasn't real if it didn't really happen if she didn't leave a mark. So
I heard it in a live, but when they said it, I might have missed the CPS part. I didn't know CPS was involved with that.
yeah. So all right, I'm gonna drop. Thank you for letting me up.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, y'all been pretty respectful so far. I appreciate that.
Hi, AK. How are you? I actually know you through Lindsay and other people. I used to be a silent follower.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I just wanted to say this. I personally, like yourself, am a victim of DV. I deal with PTSD myself. And, I'm never a person to say that another person does or doesn't have any type of diagnosis, because your diagnosis is yours and yours alone. I think the biggest problem is that, every bit of almost every moment is broadcast for for the world to see. Things that, should not be part of daily life, that we should not be seeing. When she's deciding that she's going to have, relations with Aaron, that's not our business. When she's deciding, if she should take Cam to school or not our business. And but she puts it out there for everyone to see, and then when she does something that is not something that we should see, she backpedals about, oh no, that's not what I did, I didn't do it. And you have moms and different people and different, all from all different walks of life looking at it going, I don't know about that. And you start to have feelings. You start to kind of feel like, did that really happen? Why is this happening? And, we're human. We all ask these questions about, does that really seem like we should know that? Does that really seem like it? And then at the same time, with these diagnoses, many people who have, kids who have autism or DV or PTSD, these people in these walks of life have experience. So in their experience, the situation is not is not the same. And yes, in many cases, your diagnosis is, even though you have the same diagnosis, has different parts to it, which is totally true. But then you go to help her, or to, say, hey, this is what you should do. And if you are the least bit like negative towards her, you get the boot. She doesn't want to know about it. It's not important. And, and that's the thing. If you're spending all that time online, with your quote unquote following and your supporters, if your supporter says, hey, I'm not sure about this, people want to listen, you should attempt to listen. You know what I mean? Like if someone says, oh, like you just coughed, are you okay, AK? Your reaction is, yeah, I'm fine, or whatever the case may be. But with her, it's like, no, leave me alone. And then she just brings over all these different diagnoses, but then at the same time says things that are just like these, pin words. Like she'll say, oh, she had a miscarriage, and then she's
That's not
telling the
funny.
story
I'm laughing at.
at the about the miscarriage, and it sounds nothing like other people who have had miscarriages. So and for a person that had a I read the comments, for a person who had a miscarriage, that's her experience is not typically what happens. So those people get alienated. And if we didn't see it, or she just turned off if she just turned off TikTok, we wouldn't have these questions because we wouldn't see it. But every time you're scrolling TikTok, all you do is see what she's doing. And that's what I think is frustrating for a lot of people, especially moms, because, when you're a mom, you become like the mominator, for lack of a better word. You want to protect all the kids. When you're a grandma, you want to protect all the kids. So I think that's the biggest issue. We, she spends so much time on the internet. Make sure you drink some water, AK.
I have long COVID.
Oh,
It won't
I
go
am
away.
so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. But my point being, and I'm sorry it was very long-winded, is that she really just needs to take some time away and deal with her home. And whether, and deal with all of these issues, whether it be the PTSD, or, him having autism, or her situation with her husband, fiance, rather than just spending it worrying about all these haters and people that are going after her. And that's just my point. Sorry
Yeah,
it was so long-winded. I
it's okay.
apologize. I hope you're feeling better later, AK. Can you drop me down?
Yep. Thank you.
No problem.
Some of you guys in the comment section are fucking funny. You're making me laugh at the most inappropriate fucking times. Okay, so I am going to answer a question. Somebody said, "Can you have a miscarriage without the what was the question? Oh, with a negative HCG? No, you can't." The no shit Sherlock. We need to stop watching her and giving her views, and then she can lie to herself. Okay, so when I was in that other live, like whenever it was, last week, week before, that's what my whole thing was. It was like, what are we going to do? Like, are you going to continue to go in her live and shit on her and give her more views? Or are you going to, what's the game? What's the end game? Because even if you go into her lives and you can see people dogpiling on her, okay? It's not okay. No matter if she's lied or if she's done something that you didn't like, why go into the live and constantly, you know how annoying it is for people to ask the same question 6,000 times in a row? It's so fucking annoying. Like, people were doing that to me tonight, and I'm just like, that's so fucking annoying. It's just a grab for AK. Okay. I don't need a grab. So if you all want to go, I said at 9 o'clock when I came on, I was going to talk about my true crime stuff. Okay. You all came in here to me after I blatantly said on the live earlier that I was ending it then, and that I wanted to do my true crime stuff. You guys came to me. I didn't go out and send 673 requests for you all to come in here. I would rather it get down to my 80 regular people and it just be like that. So you all can just go ahead and see yourselves out. You can see yourselves out. And if this was a grab, I'd be like, would you mind subscribing and maybe throwing me some gifts? If that's a grab, honey, that's a grab. That right there is a grab. Are you being dismissed? Get out of here. I came on live at 8 o'clock and I ended that live and I started another live. I said I would be back on at 9 and I wasn't. I didn't get back on live until like 9:20, I think, or something like that. What's my best advice? My best advice is to follow through with the things you are going to do. Go to therapy, you know. I mean, at this point in time, there's not much that she can do to get the people who are hating on her nonstop to stop, okay? Because I've been there. People won't stop until they're bored. So maybe Gabi, just sit in color. Just sit in color and not give these people what they want. Because they want to watch you for 7 hours. They're waiting for you to fuck up. So that when you fuck up, they can make videos about it. So when you fuck up, they can call you a bad mom. So either do the therapy, do the things to enrich your son's life, your family's life, or just sit in color. I don't really know. I'm a really bad person to tell somebody to get off the app because I'm on here to make my content, to talk about the things I like to talk about, which isn't typically any this. So I use this for my mental health. It helps me. I live alone. I'm by myself. I'm single. I'm not in a relationship. So if I wasn't on here, I'd probably be working on my book or I'd probably be watching television or listening to true crime. No. Why is this so fucking crazy? I'm literally just saying like the mental health shit is bad. I don't understand. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of, never mind. I'm not going to say what this reminds me of. This reminds me of something, and it doesn't matter what people say. Words are always misconstrued. Does anybody want to say anything positive? Okay, or do we just want to keep shitting down my throat? Can you pin my question? Did I ever say that neglecting a child is okay? I didn't. I'm defending someone who, I guess, okay, if that's what you want to think. I basically said people shouldn't be bullying people. That's what I said. That was the main consensus, along with that I saw the portal. Is there a reason you're not reading? Do you guys see how fast the chat's going? Whose question am I supposed to be reading? Because you guys think I'm a wizard too. I see what you're doing here. You think I'm a wizard too and I can read that fast? I mean, I have nobody in my queue. So people keep asking about boxes and stuff, but nobody's in my queue. I don't know who that is. Sorry. You don't have a box option anymore. Ooh, I like that one. We want accountability, not to see her fail. That's a good one. That's a good one. Who are you? I like that. I wish everybody felt that way.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
I have to try and be quiet because my husband's sleeping, but I have a few questions for the chat, and you look so stressed out. So
Me?
I am, yes. Hold on one second. Hold on, baby. I'll be out in a minute. I keep seeing comments of everyone saying, get off the chat. She needs to get off TikTok. But if she were to get off TikTok and everyone's so stressed about C, how would everyone know that he's being taken care of? I feel like there's a no-win here because
when she was off the app for 2 days or whatever, everybody was like
exactly
stuff. Not letting the internet just be silent for a bit. They were replaying old lives. I strolled into a live and it said, and I was like, is this today? And they're like, no, this is from 2023.
Right. They didn't have anything.
2020 fucking 3. Are you all kidding me now? Come on.
Right. She got off the app, and I don't agree with a lot either. I have heard you tonight. You're not agreeing with everything she's done. You're not sticking up for her. You spoke with her today. You got some facts. That's understandable, but I mean, she got off the app for 2 days, and it's like that wasn't enough. They had to dig up old stuff just to keep this going. And, tonight you've had so many people in your box, and a lot of them do care. I think a lot of them do care, but there are so many people that they say they care, but they don't care. They want to just keep this going. And if in reality, if all of us, and yes, I don't ever go live. I never go live. This is one of my first times. But if all of us went live 24/7 like she does, I'm not saying it's okay, but you would see that not all of us are perfect moms all the time. There would always be something that what someone does to piss someone off. And so I feel like it's a no-win for her. So at this point, yes, I think that she, needs some help. I definitely agree with that. But I live in Cape Coral also. I had no idea this girl lived here. I'll say it. I don't care. I live in Cape Coral, and I can tell you, DCF here, they do follow through. I know for a fact, and I can't say how, but I do know for a fact authorities, have been contacted. Let them handle it. If they see that if C needs to be removed or she needs help, let the authorities handle it. I don't understand how keeping this going is helping. If you don't like her, don't go in her live. Don't engage with her, because I feel like Gabi is one that likes to feel accepted, likes to feel relatable. And I think with everyone or all these people going after her 24/7, like they are, because it is happening a lot, she's constantly in defense mode. And so I think even if you were to try to give her constructive criticism right now, she wouldn't take it because she feels like everybody's attacking her. I just seen earlier when she was in here in the chat, there was one of her followers that said something helpful, and she attacked her because I think she thought that she was saying something mean to her. I just feel like at this point, there's nothing anybody can do. Being on social media is never going to fix this. Authorities have been contacted. If you don't like her, don't follow her, don't go in her lives, don't engage. The less people, the less drama. And, maybe that's what she needs. Maybe she just needs less people in her live. Maybe that will slow it down. And
that's what I said. That's what I was saying. Like, I just don't see where the bullying and the harassment and all that plays a part in this. If you're really worried about the kid, then just make it about the kid and the facts. Why does it have to be just this big, huge dog pile, even though there is a lot? Okay, there is a lot. But when you're adding more to it that you don't even know is factual,
right,
there's a problem.
I mean, I know that I've seen some people on here say in the chat that they've tried, and I've heard in the box that they've tried to give her constructive criticism, and Gabi just didn't want to hear it. But maybe, because I've been in her lives recently, and I've seen where she gets so stressed out, and she's like, someone help me. Maybe if you're not going to get her off the app, find someone neutral, maybe like you, have her come in a box, and everyone be respectful, and everyone maybe talk to her that way. I don't know the answer, but I do know
I just got cocaine.
keeping it going like this is definitely not going to fix it. It's going to make her mental health worse. It's going to piss more people off. It's going to bring more drama to her, and it's going to bring more haters. I mean, the authorities have it. They know. They have, everyone's called on her, so let them handle it. I had to put my 2 cents in. Not that it matters for everyone that didn't ask. That's my opinion. I don't agree with everything. Absolutely not. But I definitely don't feel like continuing this is ever going to fix anything, because nobody's ever going to get her off the app. Period.
No, that's not possible. Unless she gets taken off the app. Like, it's not going to happen.
Right. Well, I just woke my husband up. He's not happy with me, so now I got to get off.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can you kick me out?
Yep.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Can I talk about true crime now? Are y'all done with me? Karen, I don't know why everybody's picking on Karens. I don't know if they were calling me Karen or calling her Karen, but I don't care that Teddy's in a box talking, or Taz alive talking about. Does it look like I care? Does it look like I'm bothered? Why don't you stop spamming the chat with that nonsense? Because I don't care, not bothered. Oh, that Karen. Oh, I'm like, I thought you were calling me Karen. I'm like, what? Now I'm a Karen? Okay. Now, if 500 of you can just leave now, I will get on with my own normal nightly shenanigans. All right? I don't know who's here and who's not. I heard that Gabby's mom was here. I've heard all kinds of stuff. Listen, you can try to dismiss me. You know what? I did get my packages. I forgot all about my packages because it's nonsense. You all made me forget about my packages. I have a birthday coming up. You know what you guys could have done? You could have given me a gift for my birthday. Subscribe to my channel. If you all are still in here, why don't you subscribe to me since you like looking at me? Or are you just one of those people who like to watch 7 or 8 hour lives? If so, I'm your person too. I can go the distance. I don't know what that means. You send apples. What does apples mean? Does this mean something that I don't know? May 27th. Money grab. I know, right? So people can be like, what? Okay, so here's the thing. I didn't mean for my, okay. So I just came back to using this account, and that was the old price that I had on my subscriptions. And then I was going to go change the price. And then when I went to go change the price, people were mad because they paid the other price. So I just left it for the same fucking price. I fucking just left it. That's the same price it's been for a while. Why do I need to reset? Oh, that's how I can get rid of them, resetting. Okay. All right. I am so glad that you all came to visit me. I really am glad. I'm glad that we had this powwow. I hope that out of everything I said, what you take out of this is that still, sometimes we just don't know. And it doesn't matter what somebody shows you. Even if I came on here showing you all the shit, you just said it was fakes and frauds and forgeries. Like you just would have. It just, let's be for real. Let's be so fucking for right now. You just would have. You would have. But I think that we shouldn't bully people on this app. I would like to see that. I would like to see that not happen again. If you guys could just not harass her, watch her. Watch her for Cameron's sake, supposedly, if that's what you're doing. Okay? But, like, do we have to harass and bully? And who cares if she makes a troll account to troll on herself? Let her do that. She can't have 7,000 troll accounts at the same time going. I mean, because then she would be like this, and you would know, because, like, you know, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to let you all go. I'm resetting. Don't follow me. If you follow me, I'm going to say you're stalking me if you come into my next live. All right? I'm just telling you.